G'day, a big storm hit the Hungaroring on Wednesday night and very nearly put an end to the Hungarian Grand Prix. I was out at the track on Wednesday afternoon. I could see these dark clouds rolling in and I thought I better head back to the city because it's going to rain. Well, it rained big time. In fact, it hailed. This was what I was faced with on the motorway. And when I got back to the hotel here, I was getting so many messages from people. Have a look at the Armco fencing on the outside of the track. See all these holes in it? That was caused by the hail. So all of this signage had to be replaced. I noticed this markings on the engineering motorhome today for Williams. Had a chat with one of the crew there and they said, when we fired up the generators after the storm, they discovered that water had seeped into it. This was the result. And have a look at this bin that was down below. Well, this is the paddock here at the Hungaroring. Ferrari's got their motorhome here. It has a roof. Unfortunately, behind me, McLaren does not have a roof. And that's because a big storm came through here yesterday. Plenty of lightning, hail, wind and rain, and as a result they lost their roof. But it wasn't the first time, because on Monday apparently they had another drama with the roof. So McLaren have been unfairly dealt with by the weather, and then of course this was the hospitality suite that was repaired recently after a fire in Barcelona. So what is up on that second level? For a start, there's the driver's rooms and there's some VIP hospitality. So as it stands now, I doubt that'll be finished today. Where will the drivers hang out today? Probably in here, the engineering motorhomes. That's what happened in Barcelona when they had the fire. Another victim of yesterday's short but savage storm was this screen, which is at the entry to pit lane. It's been up there every year for the past 12 years and is secured by these bolts. Well, yesterday it just gave way and gently toppled over, crashing into pit lane. Luckily no one was anywhere near it, but this is all that's left. Now, will that be replaced? Because the people sitting opposite that use that screen were very disappointed if it's not. I imagine they're working very quickly to get something in place. And why didn't we nearly have a race? Well, the broadcast centre was ankle deep in water. That's the hub of the TV pitches, and obviously if F1 doesn't have a TV audience, they don't have a race, because they certainly don't do it just for the spectators at the track. They've got an audience of, I don't know what it is, billions watching at home. Luckily, they were able to get rid of all that water, as they were able to get rid of the water in pit lane, which was even deeper than ankle deep. And what was it like in the city? No impact at all. People were saying, we can't believe there was a storm, because the track's about 21 kilometres from where I'm sitting right now at the Kempinski Hotel. Now, on to other matters today, being Media Day. We had Brad Pitt and his crew doing some work out in pit lane. Although I can't show you photos of that, but trust me, they were there and the crew were big in numbers. You might remember that last race, the Apex crew, the fictitious 11th team for the Apple F1 movie, had their big motorhome in the paddock in Silverstone. Well, today they have a much smaller one here. I only got one picture of Brad Pitt, and this is it from the back, not much of a picture. Better pictures of Carlos Sainz, and make sure you're watching my Drivers Drove video next week, because I can't believe the car he drove in. And I'm trying to get to the bottom of why he drove that in. But he was dressed today without any Ferrari logos on. Zhou Guanyu, he had no stake logos. He came in a hoodie. Now, it was bloody hot out there, and I can't work out for the life of me why he would want to wear a hoodie in. Another driver wearing a hoodie in today was Kevin Magnussen, and about probably 3 minutes after I took this photo, looked at my phone and realised that Kevin had actually announced that he won't be at Haas next year. Where will he be? He's not sure. He'll be angling for one of the remaining seats. I did hear him at the press conference say that he did want to stay in F1, but is there a team that will have him? Lewis Hamilton came in this sleeveless sweater, a knit actually, and I thought he looked pretty slick. I didn't know whether this was a Dior outfit, because he's just signed a new partnership with Dior. Zhou Guanyu is also a Dior ambassador. You've probably already heard, but Rolex is vacating their major sponsorship and LVMH is taking over, and one of their brands is Dior, although at present they're copping some flack after Milan prosecutors revealed that a small manufacturer was charging Dior as little as $57 for a handbag they sold for $2,800. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Fernando Alonso was in something a little more normal. This black outfit, I gather, from his team sponsor Boss, but probably the out-there outfit of the day was this man's, Esteban Ocon's. And from the front, it's interesting, but when I shot him from behind, he had these monstrous pockets. I reckon you could get a 15-inch laptop in each of those pockets. And what of Daniel Ricciardo's outfit today? As his team photographer Mark Thompson said as he came in, "You've come straight from the beach." He did actually have a piece of luggage that he was wheeling along. I can assure you that was for PR purposes. There was nothing in there. And in fact, he even twirled it round a couple of times as he was walking down the paddock, and that is from their sponsor, Pit Quadro. And yes, I would love one of those bags if you happen to have a spare one around the joint. Max Verstappen was a little bit later in than normal. I think he arrived at around 3:30. His plane was half an hour late landing, and he has his own plane, of course. And coming up in about 10 days' time, I'm going to be doing a video about the drivers' private planes when they fly into not Brussels, Liège. So keep an eye out for that. So there was quite a media throng waiting for Max to do his little press conference outside the Red Bull motorhome. And I did spot Max's dad, Jos, up on the deck of the motorhome. Are you a table tennis fan? Well, I had a table tennis table set up in the middle of the paddock today, and we had Carlos and Charles playing table tennis for a while. In fact, I happen to know that one of the Ferrari media people actually asked if the Red Bull drivers would like to come and have a game, but they politely declined. But later on in the afternoon, this fella played this woman on the table tennis table. Any pictures? No, because I wasn't there, and a couple of other funny photographers rubbed my nose in the fact that I missed a great photo opportunity. The life of an F1 trainer is an interesting one. Obviously, they get to travel the world, but they often have to do the heavy lifting, and I had to laugh when I saw Ben Thorne coming in, carrying all of this stuff for him and his driver, Pierre Gasly. Reminds me of a Sherpa. He was good-natured about it, though. I'm out here at the back of the Red Bull garage, and this panelling came down yesterday afternoon. There's still a few dents visible, but as part of the renovations of this circuit, directly after this race, all of the garages will be demolished. And by next year, brand new ones, much bigger, because this was built, I think, 30 years ago for cars that were 30-year-ago size, and of course today they're far bigger. Oh, and one other thing, there is a brand new building at the entry to the track. The circuit has spent quite a lot of money on an upgrade here because they've got an extension of their F1 contract. They've actually changed the paddock. They've made it bigger, although what you're looking at here looks exactly the same as last year. Well, at the back of all the motorhomes is now an extra 10 or 15 metres of space, which at the moment is dedicated to driver parking and team principal parking. And I can tell you that our media centre, which was a shocker downstairs, is now gone. Now we're in the paddock, and the tunnel that we used to take these photographs in is not accessible anymore. I'm at the front of the Mercedes motorhome now, and I've just spotted 3 scooters with nice little registration plates on the back for Toto, Lewis and George. And despite the fact that there are signs up as you enter the paddock that say very clearly no scooters, drivers are exempted. And particularly if someone like Daniel Ricciardo, who has his motorhome here, but his garage is probably 150, 200 metres down that way, he needs one, as does Yuki, to get there in good time. Well, that's some of the things I saw out at the Hungaroring today on what was a very hot day, and I think we've got 3 perhaps not quite as hot days, but certainly no real respite for us. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so, and that's about 50% of you. And for a whole lot of extra content and stuff, where is it? I don't know, I probably should sit more this side. Look here. Thanks for watching. Stay passionate.